So now I give the floor to Dr. Genya Dana, please.
Hello, and thank you. It is a pleasure to be with you all today, and I wanted to share with you some of the work that the World Economic Forum is currently pursuing in its response to the COVID crisis. So if you've heard anything about the World Economic Forum as an international organization, you've probably heard about our annual meeting in Davos in Switzerland. But we are now 50 years old and so much more than that annual meeting. I wanted to share that I'm coming to you from our office in San Francisco. Well, our office is currently closed, so we're all working from home, but our San Francisco office is one of a growing network in the forum. We are also located in Japan and Beijing, Tokyo, Beijing, and Mumbai, and we have government partnerships now around the world with 10 other governments, including in Brazil, in Rwanda, and in the UAE, and Israel, and many more. So the forum is moving from a convener, strictly speaking, to a place where we build partnerships and we are able to facilitate initiatives that advance and address really tricky and difficult societal and economic problems. In our California office, we are a policy lab, so to speak. So we work on the different governance and policy challenges around the fourth industrial revolution and many of the emerging technologies, blockchain, artificial intelligence, machine learning, genomics. And as we have come into the situation with the pandemic, the forum was asked by the World Health Organization to help do the engagement with the private sector to respond to the pandemic. And the forum has also brought together amazing high-level leaders from industry, from public sector, and beyond on a weekly call where we have those leaders discuss the economic trends and the responses that their countries are taking. We've also initiated a number of different projects and initiatives that are led by our partners. These are true public-private partnerships, and the science and technology and innovation that is really powering the response to COVID is very evident in all of these projects. What I wanted to do is share a couple of them with you to illustrate how the forum is able to bring together global networks and partnerships to tackle this situation. I know that we have talked a lot about vaccines, and diagnostics are actually the space that I lead right now under our COVID Action Platform. And you can't really fight the pandemic without good testing and screening. We are lucky to be part of a new Access to COVID-19 Tools Accelerator that was brought together in the last couple of months by many international organizations and indeed was funded by a pledging conference last week on May 4th, led by the European Commission President, where 8 billion euros were pledged to address the issues of vaccine development, therapeutic development, and diagnostics development. In the diagnostic space, 1.4 billion of those euros was pledged in that. And so the World Economic Forum is working with the Gates Foundation specifically to bring private sector engagement into the space around capacity building and LMICs around diagnostic testings, working on the supply chain issues such that when diagnostic tools are rolled out, they get to the right places, funding and incentivizing research and development, and market readiness. So we see this as a really an amazing effort that the forum is able to bring particularly our industry partners to bear on. In the space around wearables, I know we've been talking a lot about the collection of data and IoT, Internet of Things. We have a team who is working on managing epidemics with consumer wearables. And this project is really interesting because it's focused on the governance protocols and the ethical frameworks for the collection of data from wearable devices. These would be your Fitbits, your smartphones. And we are working with companies like IBM, Ericsson, Apple, Google, And what we are trying to do, and this is drawing on research also from our academic partners, is to track outbreaks of infections in real time using wearables, like your heart rate, temperatures. I was looking at the graph that Dr. Kira was showing earlier in terms of the symptoms of COVID. We're looking to see if we can use wearables to pull that data together and specifically think about the principles around data privacy and the data access models, like federating data, where the data stay in one location, but you instead query between the different data sets to pull back the insights that you need. This can help with protecting privacy. The final project I wanted to highlight is something that I know is very important within the UN family, and probably everyone is thinking about it these days, which is mental health. We have a long-standing program of work under our healthcare platform at the Forum on mental health. Specifically, yesterday, we had a roundtable looking at technologies for addressing mental health challenges. I think in the COVID era, this is becoming a very, very critical issue, our mental health and well-being. And there is a lot of technology development happening in this space, particularly app-based wellness and monitoring programs. But what we're looking at with this mental health and technology sort of reset initiative is how to think about the ethics of developing mental health apps. What is the responsibility of a technology developer to do clinical trials, to actually know if the technology is working and helping? What are the data collection and sharing protocols? So who is getting access to the data that is coming off of those apps? Is that going up into a cloud and being sold or accessed by other companies? And then the privacy principles around this and responsibilities of companies, particularly social media platforms, where people may be sharing their thoughts, or there may be AI algorithms behind the scenes sort of monitoring whether people may be in harm or if behavioral changes are happening. So the mental health and technology portfolio that we're working on is looking at the ethical and governance principles around these kinds of different technologies. So thank you very much for that. Just wanted to share those 3 areas as a space where the forum is really trying to bring together private sector, academia, governments to think about the governance of emerging technologies. We've always been doing this, but I think in the COVID era, we've been able to make extremely rapid progress in some of these areas. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Genya, for this great contribution. It clarifies also certain matters that are still in the air and worry many people.